So I'm delighted to be joined by Jakob Humes, who is VP Worldwide Channel Sales at Wildmoka, and Steven Chick, who is Director of Brand, Creative and Digital at Asharq News. Thanks very much for being with us today.
Very glad to be here.
Great. Steven, I wanted to start from you. Can you tell us a little bit about Asharq News, who you are and what is your target audience?
Sure. Thank you, Lorenzo. Asharq News is a 24-hour multi-platform news service that brings content to its users in the Arab region and the Arab-speaking world, providing them news through an economic prism. We have an exclusive content agreement between Asharq News and Bloomberg Media that powers Asharq Business. Our target audience would be the business community and the young generation, which comprise about 70% of the population. So we focus heavily on digital platforms and experiences.
Thanks. Steven, staying on you, can you briefly tell us about the vertical streaming project?
Sure. Many of our users are of the younger generation, so they are digital-only viewers, and oftentimes their go-to device would be mobile. And when they're browsing on websites and social media, they do not turn their devices horizontally, but yet many content are still in 16:9. So when the solution of vertical streaming is able to solve this ergonomic dilemma, it creates a much more convenient and natural user experience for our users, holding their smartphones vertically while viewing content from Asharq News.
Great. Thanks so much, Steven, for giving us a brief overview of the vertical streaming project. Now let's have a look at a short video about the project. Great. That was interesting. Steven, why did you decide to work on this project? What were your main objectives?
Well, we knew that our audiences are business and digitally savvy. And as a news service without any legacy, we want to enhance our brand experience at a very early stage. And live vertical streaming meets one of those goals. It was very important for us that this solution did not require any additional production setup, and that it did not have multiple workflows and teams to be able to implement this. It is agile, it is light, and it uses artificial intelligence and machine learning that enables automatic 24/7 live and real-time transformation of horizontal layouts into vertical orientations.
Great. Thanks, Steven. Jakob, can you tell us about how you implemented this project? What were the main technical challenges from your perspective?
Yes, sure. Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, Steven.
Hi.
So, as Steven just introduced, the Wildmoka O2 zone, it's actually a product of Wildmoka, and we speak about a project because it requires a setup. So the product is actually that it uses artificial intelligence to automatically create a mobile-friendly vertical stream out of a TV signal that already exists. So without the addition of any new production material at the customer. All of that in the cloud. Now, we get that signal, we analyze it, we decompose it, and you have seen that in the video, and recompose that into a vertical stream. That runs fully automatically 24/7. And it requires, however, a setup, and that was a close collaboration that we had with Stephen and his team, where we needed to define how the layout should look like, because that is a decision that Asharq needs to be done by Asharq, not by us. So it is a decision how it is displayed, and those layouts that Stephen and his team came up with, then we implemented a first version. They reviewed it. It was an iterative process. There's many back and forth until everybody was satisfied. And then, when everything was fine, Asharq decided to launch. I think it was the 1st of February, if I remember correctly, when this was first launched, this vertical streaming format. And I think what was really interesting is also the great ideas that came from Stephen and his team that were not, that we didn't hear about before, but obviously then decided to implement it, like what you have seen in the videos that has been shown. They use different backgrounds, which is context sensitive. So depending on the actual show that is on, there's a different background. So we implemented this context sensitivity. And I think that was a great idea, and it really makes sense, because then even for content that cannot be verticalized or should not be verticalized, it still uses 100% of the screen, which makes a great experience as a user.
Great, thanks, Jakob. Stephen, maybe starting from you, and I'll let Jakob jump in as well. Can you tell us how you plan to develop this product and partnership in the future?
Yeah, definitely. So as Jacob mentioned earlier, when we started the partnership, it was an iterative process, and I do believe that there will be many more iterations in the future. Phase 1 was deployed in Feb 2021 across our websites, and a few weeks later, we extended that solution to our news app and our video on demand service, Asharq Now. And looking into the future, it will be all about enhancing the user experience through interactivity and finding ways to give viewers, providing them with much more relevant information on the 9x16 while watching Asharq News.
Thank you. Jakob, do you want to add anything on that?
Well, sure. I mean, fully understood what Stephen just said. I mean, there are multiple more iterations to come to make it a more and even better experience for the end user. As I said in the beginning, for us, it is also a product that is used by other customers. So we see a high interest in the sport community. And there, actually, here in France, we already have a first customer who runs WeZone in order to show football goals, the highlights with a zoom on the action in a separate window on this vertical format. That is one of it. The next one is also obviously vertical advertisements in order to make more money for our customers.